The 10 Stages of Dual Individuation, A Journey Within and Together, a modern interpretation of the 10 ox-herding pictures told through the story of a man and a woman who embark on parallel and intertwined journeys of individuation, finding themselves, losing themselves, and ultimately meeting each other with newfound wholeness. 1. Searching for something more. The call begins. Ethan and Sophie live in the same city but in different worlds. Ethan, an architect, spends his days crafting spaces that feel nothing like his own life, meticulously planned yet empty. He scrolls through dating apps, meets friends for beers, and buries the ache of loneliness under blueprints and deadlines. Sophie, a creative director, fills her life with color and chaos. Her days are an endless loop of photo shoots, design briefs, and social events. She has friends, a career, but still feels like she's skimming the surface of something deeper. One night, at a party neither of them wants to be at, they both find themselves on a balcony staring out at the city. Strangers, yet kindred. "I feel like I'm sleepwalking through my own life," Sophie whispers. "Yeah," Ethan replies, "me too." The search begins, not for each other, but for themselves. 2. Seeing the patterns. Hints of the shadow. Ethan signs up for a meditation retreat. He expected relaxation but finds himself sitting with his own restlessness, his need to control, his fear of intimacy. Sophie starts therapy. What was supposed to help with work stress unravels deeper truths, her pattern of keeping people at arm's length, her fear of being seen. They each start to see their own shadows. Ethan realizes his perfectionism is a shield. Sophie discovers her vibrant social life is a mask. They are both catching glimpses of the ox, the wild, untamed parts of themselves. 3. Meeting the shadow, the first glimpse of true self. Ethan and Sophie begin to delve deeper. Ethan tries journaling, confronting old wounds, the breakup he never moved on from, the father whose approval he still chases. Sophie attends a breathwork workshop. During a session, a memory surfaces, her mother's voice always telling her to smile more, to be easygoing, to never rock the boat. The experiences are raw, uncomfortable. Both have moments of wanting to turn back, to slip into the safety of distraction, but there is no turning back. 4. Wrestling with the shadow, the inner battle. Ethan has dreams filled with water, drowning, waves crashing, a constant struggle to keep his head above. His therapist suggests it might symbolize emotions he's afraid to feel. Sophie finds herself crying at odd times, watching a movie, hearing a song, even walking through the park. It's as if the grief of a lifetime is surfacing all at once. They each hit walls. Ethan numbs out with work. Sophie fills her schedule with parties and noise, but the shadow waits, patient and unyielding. 5. Integrating the shadow, owning their darkness. One evening, Ethan stands in front of his bathroom mirror. He looks into his own eyes and says, "I see you." It feels strange but powerful. He is learning to accept himself, not just the polished version he shows the world, but the messy, scared human parts too. Sophie starts to say no. She sets boundaries, she tells a friend, "I can't be there for you right now," and feels a strange mix of guilt and liberation. They are each learning to hold their own hands. 6. Moving with authenticity. The masks fall away. Ethan quits a project that doesn't align with his values. He stops trying to please clients at the expense of his own vision. Sophie paints again, not for work but for herself. She fills canvases with colors that have no purpose but to exist. They are no longer seeking to be liked, they are becoming real. 7. The old self fades, true selves emerge. Ethan's friends notice. "You seem different," they say. He just smiles. Sophie's world becomes quieter but richer. She spends afternoons at the park, watching the way light moves through leaves, feeling fully present for the first time in years. The ox, the restless mind, the hungry ego is no longer wild. It walks beside them, gentle and calm. 8. Both ox and self forgotten, just being one. Autumn afternoon, they meet again. Not on a crowded balcony, but in a quiet bookstore. They recognize each other, but there is no urgency. They talk about life, about books, about nothing at all. There is no need to impress, no performance. Ethan is not looking to be completed. Sophie is not looking to save or be saved. They are simply there. 9. Returning to the world whole together, whole apart. Ethan and Sophie begin to spend time together, walks in the city, sharing meals, holding space for each other's stories, but they are not tangled in each other. Sophie still paints, Ethan still builds. They are together, yet free. The world around them hasn't changed, but their experience of it has. They create a life not of need, but of choice. 10. Sharing without seeking, the quiet influence. Their relationship becomes a quiet influence. Friends ask, "What's your secret?" They don't have an answer. There is no secret, just a journey walked, first alone and then together. Ethan continues his meditation practice. Sophie hosts small art circles where people can create without judgment. When people ask for advice, they share, but they do not preach. They know that everyone's path is their own. And so, the cycle begins again, not for them, but for those who see in their story a mirror of their own. Conclusion. This is the dual individuation journey, not through dramatic romance or fairy tale endings, but through the quiet integration of two whole souls walking side by side. They are still themselves, imperfect, evolving, sometimes restless. But with patience, intention, and a willingness to face the shadow, they find that individuation is not the end of the path, but the beginning of a life truly lived.